Hey guys, in this video I'm talking about autism boundaries and 5 reasons why you struggle, and this is exactly why you struggle. All that is coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Autistc world. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos on this type of content. So if you're new around here and you'd like to learn more, remember to hit that subscribe button by clicking the notification bell. And also, if you're watching over on Facebook, be sure to give this page a like and a follow to see more videos just like this one. Hey guys, welcome back. What's going on? Welcome back to the Autistc world, where we think differently daily. What's up, different thinkers? I am Dan and I'm pumped to have you here. And if you're new around here, what's up? If you haven't already, I'd love for you to download my free PDF 7 Autism Life Hacks books. It's a PDF book just designed for you as a little gift. So if you go over to the card above me now, the description down below, and on the end screen, you will be able to download that PDF free from me because I love you. But yeah, no, it's really cool. It's going to give you loads of value. So yeah, awesome. And if you want to reach out to me, you can always do so on Twitter and Instagram. Please go give me a follow on those socials. I actually read and respond to every single message, DM, and comment I get over there too. And I love making new friends, so hey, why not? Okay, so there's a question of boundaries with autism, right? So anybody who knows anybody on the autism spectrum knows that autistic people have an inability sometimes to understand boundaries, and boundaries can come in many shapes and forms. And so I have listed out 5 of the most interesting ones, the top struggles that I believe that people have and they face on a daily basis having an autism spectrum diagnosis. And I'm going to go through each one of those right now, break it down so you guys can really clearly understand exactly what I am talking about. But yeah, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so number 1 is the issue of standing too close. Now, people with autism have issues with socializing, right? And there's a socially accepted distance to stand apart from somebody, where there is a certain kind of rule where you don't stand too close to somebody and you don't stand too far away if you're trying to converse and have a decent conversation with somebody. But people on the autism spectrum sometimes have issues knowing how far to stand away from someone, and so this becomes a big issue, especially socializing. So you're in a social situation, right? You're setting the scene, and then there's somebody across the way, and then they're expecting you to stand a certain distance away, but then you're maybe too close to them. And I've had this loads of times where I've stood next to people and they're like, whoa, you're way too close. I'm like, oh shoot. And they're like, oh, you know, personal space, or read the room. I hear this all the time. And I'm thinking, well, where am I supposed to stand? I have no idea. Where am I supposed to stand? How much is it? So anyway, I figured it out. So I figured out by asking people, what is the distance I'm supposed to stand around a social situation? And that distance is about 1 to 2 meters, which is about 6 feet, really, where you should stand apart from someone, which is socially acceptable to converse, have a good conversation, and really just be typically in that situation with no kind of upsets or standing too close or too far away. So just remember, keep 1 to 2 meters and you're doing fine. Okay, and number 2 is knowing when to talk. So one of the biggest issues that people have on the autism spectrum is in conversation, everyone has their turn to talk, right? So someone talks and somebody else says something else, and then they may be talking or directing to somebody else, and then they may be talking to this person. It gets a big old thing, right? And in this instance, there are certain rules that apply. So you know that when this person is talking, you don't talk over them, or when this person stops talking, then maybe it's your turn to talk. But this can become very confusing because people on the autism spectrum have difficulty with socializing, social conventions, understanding when it's their turn to talk, when they butt in with their piece of information. It's a big old thing. So it's not acceptable to talk over somebody else. So basically what you have to do is stop, wait for the person to finish talking, and then you can talk. One of the things that I get told off for all the time is that I kind of talk over people and I don't realize I'm doing it. So I have to make a conscious effort to think, okay, well, somebody's talking, I shouldn't talk over them. I have to wait till they finish talking and then I can say my bit. It's very difficult. Practice makes progress with this one, but it's just something that I thought would check in here because it's very interesting to know and to note that down, to remember when I'm talking to somebody, I just gotta make sure that I leave it until they finish talking and then I can talk. But yeah, super good one. It'll help you out so much. Okay, so number 3, along the same lines as talking, is knowing when to stop talking. Now, I am a huge talker. I love talking at people about my special interest. I mean, big thumbs up if you ever talk at people for such a long time. They're just like, oh my goodness, what is this guy talking about? Or when you like talking about your special interest or parents or or caregivers, if you know someone on the spectrum and you get them talking about something, they just don't stop. So there is a big thing of knowing when to stop talking. So one of the big issues that autistic people face is knowing when they're talking too long, and knowing when people are kind of bored of what you're saying, because those signals are kind of blurred. They're socially learned signals that someone is kind of bored of your conversation, they don't want to listen to you anymore, so you need to stop talking. And I was like, oh yeah, how do I know when this is? So what I've written on this is try to keep a short, precise conversation, and that's the best way to keep talking rhythmic. And so if you want to say something about the thing you're interested in, say it in about 4 sentences and then take a pause and then see if anybody else wants to chime in or talk anymore, and then they'll tell you if they're interested in you carrying on or if they just want you to stop talking and this is the most boring thing ever, or they may change the subject of the conversation. This happens quite a lot too, but these skills I've learned because I've tested these out, and then I realized that like people were saying to me like, you're talking for ages, nobody can listen to you for that long, and so I said, okay, well how do we fix it? And this is how. Okay, so number 4 in our boundaries list here, which is super awesome. And guys, by the way, if you're really having a blast here, please give this video a thumbs up. It means the world to me when you guys give thumbs up on videos. And if you have anything to add, any funny stories or comments, put it in a comment down below. I read and respond to every single one, and that'd be super awesome. So number 4 is knowing what not to say. Now, autistic people have difficulty with filters, right? So it's not acceptable to bring up like embarrassing and emotional topics or stories about somebody or someone else or yourself in a social conversation, especially in group situations. Like if you know a story about somebody who fell over in mud and it was really embarrassing for them, you wouldn't bring that story up in front of them and a bunch of other friends because that might embarrass them. But autistic people don't have that like gauger for the filter to know like, is this acceptable to say it here or is it not acceptable to say it here? I don't know. So the idea is that if you know an embarrassing story or anything that's emotional or something that is sensitive to that person, only bring it up if you're on a one-on-one conversation with that person, if you want to talk about it. And this goes for yourself as well. If you have embarrassing stories about you, anything that's like potentially kind of like personal about you, you don't really want to bring it up in a group situation. You want to kind of bring it up with your best friend or somebody that you can rely on when you're in a one-on-one situation, because those conversations can become very difficult. And obviously having those boundaries and that kind of filter is really difficult. I still have difficulties with it today, so it's a practice makes progress thing. Okay, so number 5 is correct, engage and depart. Now, engage and depart, when people are talking, they have an engagement action where someone enters a conversation and they start engaging with other people, and then they have a departure, which is almost like a passing, like they have a greeting to meet, and then they have a like a departure greet as well, where they kind of say okay, goodbye, and whatever, and then they go their separate ways. So to do this properly, it's known that you enter a conversation with a small greeting like, hey, how are you guys? Hey, sorry I'm late, or whatever, and then you wait for a response, like a question to be asked of you before you start talking. So you wouldn't enter a conversation and just say, hey, blah 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 blah. You'd enter a conversation and be like, hey, sorry I'm late, what's going on? And then they would ask you a question, and then you would respond accordingly. And that's how you enter the conversation. Now, before leaving a conversation, just give a reason for your departure. So a lot of the time, I kind of just walk away from situations, or I kind of zone out and I walk off. But if you're going to leave a conversation or a group setting, just say to them the reason. Just all you have to do is state the reason that you're going to go. Say, hey, I'm going to go and use the toilet or the bathroom or whatever. Or hey, I'm going to go and grab a drink. Or hey, I'm going to go home and get some food because I'm starving. So as long as you actually give the reason for the departure, it's completely socially acceptable for you to leave that situation then. So this is a very good overview and an outline of the kind of boundaries and stuff that people face and difficulties on the autism spectrum. Now, if you think this kind of information can help somebody, please share it on Facebook and Twitter and give this video a thumbs up. I will see you guys in the next video.